morning, good afternoon, good evening. Somebody has asked me a direct question. Change Radio is fighting for better roads. Why are you against Change Radio? I think it is a fair question, and it requires an answer, and I'll answer it directly. I have, on this platform and many other areas, mourned of the sorry state of Zimbabwe's roads, railway, schools, hospitals, etc., etc. I have said Zimbabwe is a failed state and a rotten infrastructure, lack of basic services, and millions of people living in abject poverty is the consequence of the failed state. Yes, I should be supporting Change Radio for highlighting the same problems. And I do. The subtle difference between me and Change Radio is that I am taking it one step further. Why is it that 45 years, now 46 years after independence, we are still failing to govern ourselves? We are now a failed state. I beg to differ with Change Radio philosophy that MDC-CCC leaders are the solution to the country's problems. I believe they become part of the problem itself. When MDC was formed in 1999, the nation came to the right decision, in my view, that we needed to end the Zanu PF dictatorship, or the country will go nowhere. The nation had two realistic options. Either we take up arms, go back to the bush again, and fight the Zanu PF regime just as the nation had fought Ian Smith before him. Or we risk everything to elect opposition leaders who will implement the democratic reforms and put the nation back on the democratic path. MDC, when it was formed in 1999 by Trankirai and Company, they promised to do just that. They even called their name, the party name, the Movement for Democratic Change. Medias like Change Radio have supported MDC-CCC ever since. What they have failed to do is ask the question, why is it that 25 years after the MDC was formed, Zanu PF is still able to blatantly rig elections? Why is it that MDC leaders themselves are the ones conning the people to participate in flawed elections, knowing that the process is flawed, knowing participating will give Zanu PF legitimacy. I will not be against Change Radio if they ask those pertinent questions. They've not only refused to ask those pertinent questions, they've actually taken to defending the MDC leaders. Anyone who has tried to hold MDC leaders to account, they have found themselves being taken to task by medias like Change Radio. As much as one knows that there is the so-called Chamisa Chete Chete Brigade, who are about all brain dead, who were easily conned by the lie that Chamisa had plugged the vote rigging loopholes in 2023, just as they were easily conned by the lie that MDC Alliance had stringent measures to stop Zanu PF rigging the elections in 2018. Those in Change Radio are intellectually not far behind those Chamisa Chete Chete Brigade members, because they too have taken it upon themselves to defend the MDC leaders no matter what. We need to move on as a nation. We need to realize that 25 years after MDC was formed, we have not made progress in stopping Zanu PF rigging the elections. And we need to find out why. And the truth is because the MDC CCC leaders have become Zanu PF Team B in all but name. They participated in these flawed elections to give Zanu PF legitimacy, and to make sure that Zanu PF wins. In return, Zanu PF has allowed them to have a share of the spoils of power. We as a people need to grow up on that point. We need to realize that this is the problem. So in short, I am against Change Radio, because Change Radio is hell-bent on replacing Zanu PF with MDC CCC, regardless of the fact that the latter are Zanu PF Team B in all but name. In other words, replacing Zanu PF with MDC CCC, even if they could do it, will only be a cosmetic change. Nothing on the ground will ever change. I am after real change. I'm after putting the country back on a democratic footing. And that requires the courage to say, this system, this present system, this marriage of convenience between Zanu PF and MDC of the last 25 years is not working, and we need to change it. That is the subtle difference. Think about it. Have a good afternoon.